everyone. It's Dr. Tamara Beckford with Your Caring Docs. That's right, where we bring you health and wellness info. Have you take an active role in your health, right? But we have a special segment, which I'm always very, very happy to do, which is the Your Caring Docs, Docs Who Cares. That's where we bring you doctors from all over the world who are going to drop health and wellness info gems right here. And the best part is that they're going to leave all their info so you can find them. So if you would like to be a patient of theirs, if you'd like to be a client of theirs, if you'd like to be part of their teams, you'll know where to find all of this. Today, we are going to go across the pond. That's right, all the way to the UK. I am super excited for our first international guest on our Your Caring Docs Dr. Cares podcast. So this is Dr. Adam Harris. I'm going to drop a little bit of gem on Dr. Harris, and then we're going to welcome him on, right? So Dr. Harris, he has an MB, BS in medicine from the Imperial College of London, St. Mary's Hospital Medical School, right? So as with most of my docs, they don't really stop there. They go and get some more training and more knowledge. So after that, he decided to go to law school. So he has a law degree from Nottingham Law School. So now we have a Dr. Lawyer, right? And did he stop there? No. As I said, most of our docs get more and more training. So he decided that he wanted to help more people. And that in mind, he graduated from the Australian Institute of Professional Coaches, where he trained in life, leadership, and executive coaches, right? So with all of that knowledge, all of that gem, we are going to welcome on Dr. Adam. Welcome.
Oh my goodness. This is the most exciting interview I've ever had. Seriously. This is it's amazing. It's amazing already.
It's going to be even more amazing because you have so many gems and we are just waiting for all of this. Yes. Cool. So you're very, very, very passionate about helping your clients achieve their goals quickly, right? And you also have an additional passion about helping doctors and other professionals who are suffering in toxic environments. You help them with tools and skills for them to help to deal with their situation and for them to be able to lead a healthier and more successful life at work. So with all of these skill sets, we're going to bring you on and we're going to ask you all of this because you do all of this through coaching. Coaching. Now, there are a lot of people who are listening to this. Some have heard about coaching, others haven't. And everyone is thinking about athletics, right? However, coaching goes beyond that. So give us a definition, like what is coaching?
Well, firstly, thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited and you're just amazing. Thank you. It's a real honor. Anyway. I thought I'd root out a cheeky little definition, and the best one I could find, because there are a lot, people have different interpretations of what coaching means to them. But the Institute for Life Coach Training came up with this one that I think is pretty special. A professional relationship that helps people produce extraordinary results in their lives, careers, businesses, or organizations, helping them to bridge the gap between where they are now and where they want to be. And I think that's pretty good in a nutshell, really.
Absolutely. Bridging the gap based on where you are now and where you want to be. So you see where you want to be. You just need help getting there. Yeah.
And I think coaching just really expedites the process, so, and I'm as guilty as anyone, I could kind of say, I want to do this and it will take me years to get there. But if I think I really want to get there much more quickly, but I don't think I can manage that myself, get a coach. Coach can take you from A to B in a lot less time.
Absolutely. And that's what you help do. Now, we know that with coaching, there are different aspects. And right now, there's also coaching that is done within the health field. And I think this is a little bit newer because why? Because we're just figuring out, right? So let's talk about health coaching and the benefits of it.
So health coaching can be done by coaches who are not necessarily healthcare professionals, or it can be done by healthcare professionals. And really, you're looking at, so if it's bridging the gap from where you are now to where you want to be. So you have a goal in mind, and it's health related. So that may be, weight loss, smoking cessation, helping improve your mental health, getting off those medications, being diabetic and being reliant on medication and wanting to improve your sugar controls and so on. And you just don't seem to be able to get there off your own steam, and so, you have that health goal in mind that you share with your health coach, and they get you there in a much quicker time. And the beauty of having the coach rather than doing it by yourself is that you have in them an accountability partner.
Absolutely.
So, they will keep you on track. They will see you regularly, and every session that you have, they will set you some goals, some SMART goals for the next session. And, we all slip up. We all stuff, life gets in the way, right? So, it's like if you are my client, try and keep you on track gently, nudging, carrot more than stick. But I guess it depends on the client. If they say to you, I want you to be strict with me, fine,
right.
But yeah, it's it's achieving those health related goals in a timely way, and just transforming your life in much more quickly. And
it's obviously shown its benefits, and it's shown its benefits in that, because there's so many people who might say, well, why do I need a coach? I mean, I can do this on my own. I want to say, we talk about diabetes. I want to improve my sugar numbers. I'm just going to stop eating blah, blah, blah. However, as you're mentioning, with a coach, it helps you from bridging the gap between A and B. The difference is that there are times when you just don't feel like doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
And that's where the coach helps you. So today you're enthusiastic, but what about next week?
Yeah, that's true. Because, people don't necessarily bring their lives into the session with you, but there's stuff going on in the background, and we have to be mindful of that. And, I guess you could be any sort of coach and coach most things, because essentially a coach is helping you achieve your goals. But, I think if you're a health coach and you've got a healthcare background, that can be helpful. I mean, it may be that they don't have a clue about how they should improve their diet to achieve these things. And so if you have, some kind of knowledge as a nurse or a dietitian or a doctor, you can advise them on that as well.
Absolutely. And then with coaching too, we realize that coaching for the health, we think about health and we think about solid numbers, and we think about solid diagnoses such as diabetes or high blood pressure. But there's also the well-being aspect of it. There's so much more than just that. And this is also an area where you thrive. So you coach and you help with personal and professional people. You help them with their well-being. Can you give us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Your techniques.
And actually, an interest in this led me to set up a clubhouse club with my friend, Dr. Darren Davidson, who's an orthopedic surgeon in Seattle. And in our rooms, our clubhouse club rooms, we speak a lot about the different areas of wellness and well-being. And so anyone who's kind of been there will hear me talk a lot about, I have this kind of concept of you need a good bedrock of wellness and well-being, and then on the bedrock you build a foundation, and the foundation is the more advanced skills. And then obviously once you've got a foundation in place, you can build a house. Now the house is your life, is your healthy and well life, be it work, personal life, family, all of these things, So in terms of the bedrock, in terms of the wellness side of things, I concentrate on three main areas. The first area is a little bit of a cheat because it's lots of areas within itself. You'll have heard of the 5 ways to wellbeing. Mm-hmm. So staying connected with people, being active, giving of your time, not necessarily money, taking notice of being mindful, and continuing to learn. Right. So that's one area, but I kind of cheat a little bit in that as well, and just add in sleeping well and eating well, having meaning and purpose in your life. And something that's very special to me, because I kind of discovered this around 3 years ago, is connecting with and living by your core values. Right. Like that makes a huge difference to the sort of the pathway and journey of your life and the tranquility that you can achieve. Yeah. Absolutely. And then social media, limiting social media. So that's the kind of first massive area. And then the other kind of areas are much more contained. Breathing exercises. So we know that when we get a bit stressed out and a bit panicky, that kind of deep breathing is good. Yeah, it kind of calms you down. Absolutely. And that's actually the last thing you start to do, right? You're doing shallow breathing. Exactly. Yeah, exactly so. Great. Exactly so. Yeah, you're completely right. And so it does take a degree of insight and control. And so that's where the practice side of it comes in. But things like deep breathing, box breathing, which the American Marines do. So taking a deep breath for 4 seconds, holding it for 4 seconds, breathing out for 4 seconds, and holding it for 4 seconds. All these things, it basically trigger the parasympathetic nervous system, which then calms you down, calms down your heart rate, calms down your breathing rate, lowers your blood pressure. Absolutely. Helps with that kind of initial anxiety. So it's useful if you're stressed, panicky, angry, upset, just kind of, if you can check yourself. But it's just a great thing to do generally, you know? I mean, how many people do deep breathing routinely every day? No. So I don't. As a matter of fact, I think while we were just talking, I held my breath for 4 seconds. See the impact. Don't you feel better for it? Yes. So I've got an Apple Watch, right? A lot of people have Apple Watches. Other watches are available. And it has a meter on it that checks your oxygen levels. Right. Okay. Now we're aiming for like 99%, something like that, right? Yes, because we're such high achievers. Well, yeah, that's true. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, doctors, trying to get the highest score. But I mean, like people in general, we want to have like, really high 90s in our oxygen level. Absolutely. So I'll kind of like, I'll have been sitting around not doing much, check it, and it's like 86%. How's that possible? Yeah. How have I not keeled over? Yeah. With 86% oxygen levels, right? Then you take some deep breaths and you can get it up to the high 90s. And what that shows is it's a bit like physical therapy. In fact, you guys have respiratory therapists, don't you, in the States? Correct. My mom is actually a respiratory therapist. Yeah. So we call them physiotherapists in the UK. So physical therapists. They either specialize in respiratory or musculoskeletal or neuro or whatever. And they'll teach you these deep breathing things. So what that kind of demonstrates is that we're routinely not breathing very deeply. And when you force yourself to breathe deeply, you open up these small airways that you're not normally opening, that just kind of like collapse down, fill with mucus, whatever. They're risk for chest infections. But if you do that a few times a day, just consciously take some deep breaths, you're helping yourself in that way as well. And then the third thing is meditation. Absolutely. And I mentioned mindfulness in the 5 ways to wellbeing, and meditation, mindfulness kind of in the same camp. But again, we know that it's just something that when practiced, regularly, calms you down, brings you inner peace. But again, it's something that people who meditate have better mental acuity. They're better able to handle conflict. It's been proven. And in fact, the American Army have done some studies, the use of mindfulness, meditation, yoga, and the type of meditation was loving kindness meditation. And they demonstrated that in the kind of like new recruits, the kind of rookies, it reduced the incidence and prevalence of homesickness. Because it would take you young people, taken away from their families.
Absolutely.
People who've experienced battlefield trauma, PTSD, as a result of active duty, it reduces the length of time that goes on for. And also it's good for chronic pain. So if you've been injured at war, it's fantastic. So that's what I call my bedrock.
Right. Absolutely.
For wellness and well-being. And then the foundation on which the healthy and happy life is built has basically advanced skills. So I think you need to practice the basics first and get them. No one's ever going to be perfect at them. Right. But you just, as good as you can. And then there are things that are, I think these things are more about your mental well-being, really. So I recommend people do journaling.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's a big. Do you do journaling?
Yes, and I realized that I stopped. So now I actually have my journal right here. After this, I'm writing all about you.
Do it. So writing down and reciting positive affirmations.
Absolutely.
Writing down and reflecting on gratitude. So having a gratitude practice. Yes. And reflecting, is the key thing. They're not just writing down. I was a Sunday service of my daughter's school, and the chaplain was giving a sermon, and he used this phrase, "a tank full of thankful," which I think is brilliant. And I've also heard gratitude attitude. That's quite a good one. Yeah. Develop a tank full of thankful and practice it regularly. And something that I do particularly is what went well. 3 things at the end of each day that went well, because as doctors and other professionals, lawyers, engineers, architects, it's all about the kind of like getting things perfect and attention to detail and so on. And we're our own harshest critics if we make a mistake. And you and I will both know from patient interactions, you may have 30 or more patient interactions in a day. If you have one where the patient was particularly toxic and it upsets you, you'll just obsess about that one. It will just preoccupy you. The other kind of 30 odd, they might have been middle of the road. You might even have had some really fantastic patients who were lovely, but you won't remember them. You will remember the one who was horrible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. That's so prevalent. And as you, also discussed about like professionals and about our attention to detail and a little bit of perfectionism in that in our daily lives. I love the fact that you said that at the end of the day, you write down 3 things that went well, because we are very focused on what did not go well. Because we're always trying to improve, and we're in an environment where we're always told to, well, thank you for this, but can you do this better? Can you do that better for improvement? And that can weigh on you.
Yeah, it really does. It's the culture that we're brought up in through medical school and then through being a junior doctor. And it's okay. So sometimes errors like that can lead to patient safety issues. Most time probably not, but we will berate ourselves. And so if you can have that, WWW at the end of the day, what went well, 3 things before you go to bed, maybe. And it will just kind of remind you, actually, that was one thing, but these things went really well. And that, is kind of good for your psyche. A few other kind of positive psychology tools, visualization techniques. So visualizing happiness, success, looking in the future, 5 years time, where do I want to be? Do I want to be sipping that pina colada on a beach because I've been successful? Do I want to be, kind of like wearing that swimsuit because I've been really good in my health related goals and lost that weight? Do I not want to be coughing all the time because I've quit smoking? Whatever those health related goals are. Practicing self-forgiveness and self-compassion. for me, you know, it starts at home. If you can't forgive yourself and be kind to yourself and compassionate to yourself, how can you, without being a hypocrite, be like that to everyone else, you know? And that's it's really good for our well-being, good for our kind of longevity and so on. And just, it might be a bit silly, but just smiling and laughing more, you know, like you do. It's good, you know, and hugging more, you know, all of these things, they release serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin, dopamine, all the kind of happy chemicals and happy hormones that are good for your cardiovascular system, you know. And just, yeah, practicing kindness. Doesn't that sound ridiculous? Like practicing being kind, right? But we're busy, yeah. We're not always as kind and considerate as we could be, and I absolutely put myself in that category, you know. And empathy as well, you know. And empathy is, the definition of empathy is not just can we put ourselves in tune with other people's emotions, but are we reacting to other people's emotions appropriately as well, you know. And then a few other things: developing a growth mindset, increasing emotional intelligence, which can be practiced. You know, you're not born with a set emotional intelligence. You can improve your emotional intelligence, you know. Working on your self-confidence and self-esteem, which are two different things, but people, you know, don't often think about the distinction between them. But you know, how can you be a happy, healthy, well person if you have a rock bottom self-confidence?
That's true.
You know, again, for professionals, working on imposter syndrome. We all have it to a lesser degree or not. We all have it, and it can be worked on. And then a couple more things, and more to do with your kind of interpersonal relationships usually with colleagues or interactions with, you know, kind of customer service people and things like that, like being more assertive. So not taking the nonsense that people want to dish out, you know, but without being aggressive.
Right.
You know, I think it's such an important life skill. I was teaching some trainee family medicine physicians about assertiveness a couple of months ago. And, you know, as we know, patients will come in very demanding, very high expectations, you know, quite aggressive sometimes. And, you know, if you just kind of bow and give in to what they want, you feel really defeated and deflated after that interaction. When they've left the room, you're like, you feel bad, don't you? Like, why did I let that happen? Yeah. I know it wasn't the right thing. Exactly. I let them bully me into giving them antibiotics when I thought it was viral, you know, and, you know, so being assertive and kind of standing your ground, saying, no, that's not okay. That's not acceptable. But without, if they get aggressive, that's their issue. But if you stay calm and centered, and similarly, dealing with conflict in a healthy way. So people think conflict is a negative thing, but it's actually can be a really constructive and productive thing if done in a, you know, a civil way. You know, organizations like Apple wouldn't have achieved what they have unless they had differences of opinion, you know, that were dealt with in a courteous way, you know. And conflict can lead to innovation, you know. So yeah, they're my sort of foundation skills. And then hopefully if you can kind of work on all of those things, then it will slowly work you towards being happier and healthier and having a better well-being.
Absolutely. And, you know, I love the fact that you have it as the bedrock, and then you bring the different aspects as you build those foundations to build a house of wellness and happiness, right? So it doesn't just start with just the house. If you know, we all have, you know, that parable, like if you build a house on a rock or in the sand, you know, so if you have worked on those great foundations, then once you get to the portion of your life where you're looking at your life overall, you would have had a lot of tools within your arsenal to help to deal with the different aspects in life, right? So dealing with the conflict, to dealing with the imposter syndrome, to dealing with giving in, dealing with self-compassion, which is so important because that's a part of us that, you know, we're very, very harsh, and a lot of us are very harsh on ourselves. Why? Not because that we're just mean, we're just trying to improve, but we're probably using the incorrect tools to do so.
And maybe modeling on what we've seen other people
in others
do. And it's like, oh, that must be the way to do it, but actually, you know, it's wrong.
Absolutely. And you know, with all of this, I think that we've gone through a lot today in helping others. But you know, we've learned how coaches can be beneficial. Coaches can be beneficial in the health, in improving your health. We've learned about how coaching can help with your well-being and the different techniques that you use in particular to help with your clients. But with all of this, I want to know some more. So, I would love to know, if you weren't a doctor, what would you be?
Oh, I've thought about this a lot over the years, and as you know, I've changed career multiple times. So I may have another few career changes within me. I'm not sure. You know, I'm only in my mid-40s. Interesting. There was a time I had a year out between school and high school and medical school, and I actually thought, I don't want to do medicine. I was actually going to go off and do ancient history and archaeology. Now that would have been amazing, but that's not my answer.
Not the answer.
That's not. I'm teasing you.
Please do tell.
Right, as you know as well, I love traveling. I've traveled a lot in my life. I started late. Didn't go overseas first time till I was 19. That's the first time I left the UK. But I've made up for it since. So I love those kind of Lonely Planet guides and rough guides and whatever. I would love to be a travel journalist. Absolutely love to be a travel journalist.
Love it. Love that. Wow.
But I also no. Well, I think I have to part-time it. So part-time travel journalist. But at least I could probably do while I'm away. Yeah, I love movies. Absolutely love movies. And I would love to be a movie critic. So yeah, because you get to go to all those advanced screenings and stuff as well, and you know, kind of like meet your idols. So part-time movie critic, part-time travel journalist.
Part-time movie critic. Wonderful. I've heard some answers to this. These are two unique answers. I love. I love that our colleagues and, you know, our physician colleagues, they have so much in their arsenal. We're so great at helping and taking care of patients, but there are some other skill sets that we have out there, or dreams and aspirations that we've had, that I love unraveling those on our little talks. So this has been wonderful. And you know, if ever I make it over to the UK, I know where I am going. All of you guys over in the UK, like Dr. Adam Harris says, he loves to travel. So for limited time in the UK, but the great thing about what he does is that he can take care of you through his physician coaching and actually professional coaching. So it's not just limited to physician, it's limited to all professionals who are out there who would like to level up. If you're dealing with stress in the workplace and you're unsure of how to manage it, you love your job, but you're trying to figure out how to improve upon your life during that time, this is the doc for you, the doc coach for you. If you're an institution and you're having trouble with bullying within the institution and you're unsure of how to address this, this is the physician coach doc for you. He has a degree in medicine and in law. So mitigation, I think he was probably weren't you the top 3 mitigation in your class? I think so. I think you were killing it. So he can help you anywhere you are. So you can find him where? Come on, Dr. Adams.
Okay.
Let us know where they can find you.
Okay, so you can email. That's good. So it's just dr.adam, all lowercase, at coachingmentoringdoctors.com. Mm-hmm. Even though it's Coaching Mentoring Doctors, I do, as you've said, work with all professionals. Mm-hmm. My favorite kind of hangout social media wise is LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. That's just Dr. Adam Harrison. I have a YouTube channel, as you know, much like yourself, and that is Dr. Adam physician-coach. Mm-hmm. Physician coach. I have my Clubhouse club with Dr. Davidson, which is high performing physician, but again, all people are welcome. Mm-hmm. I have a Facebook page, which is at Coaching Mentoring Doctors. Mm-hmm. And I have a small presence on Twitter. Medical Leadership Coach is my handle on that, but I just can't get my head around Twitter, I don't think so.
Not yet. We'll be Twittering up soon. Absolutely. So we have multiple ways of finding Dr. Harrison. You can find him. He is very, very present on LinkedIn. So he's on Facebook, Clubhouse, where he runs a clubhouse with one of his colleagues. And also we said that YouTube, he has a great YouTube channel, which he's producing a lot of info for. And you can find him Twittering away.
Very occasionally.
Right, occasionally. That's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So best thing too is that you're going to be able to find him here on our Your Caring Docs website. Yes, coming soon, brand new. Wonderful. So I'm Dr. Tamara Beckford with Your Caring Docs, and you know that you can find us on a couple different areas, right? So this podcast, you can find it anywhere you listen to your podcast, your Apple, your Google, your Spotify, any of the fives, your Buzzsprout, anything that's sprouting, right? Buzzsprout, Apple, Spotify, you can find us there. And you can also find us on our social media, and we are Your Caring Docs. That's URCARINGDOCS. Your Caring Docs, and you can find us on Twitter. We're tweeting away too, a little bit at a time. You can find us on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, yes, and we are also on YouTube. And you can find us on your Tick and Your Talk. We're ticking and talking away a little bit at a time also. I love that. So yes, thank you so much, Dr. Harrison, for coming on. Yes.
Thank you. Do you know what? My oxytocin and serotonin levels are really high now. I'm really happy. Thank you so much. That was awesome fun.
Great time. So thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.